You will literally see the difference at the same age between a person that only had to study and a person that had to be a working student. I started working at the age of 10 in my dad's company, a bakery. And since the age of 10, I woke up in the summers at 4 a.m. to work with him. Then something else has also happened. I was not very good at high school. I repeated the first year for 2 times in a row. And at that point, my dad told me, if you want to repeat it for the 3rd time, you're gonna work with me in the night before every day of school. I mean, it was kinda right, I was not a great student at the time. And so my pact with the devil started. And since the age of 16, I worked and studied at the same time. Between the age of 16 to 25, I worked in my dad's bakery. And between the age of 25 to 29, I worked as a broker in an investment fund. All of this while doing high school between 16 to 29, the bachelor degree between 29 to 24, and a master degree in finance between 26 and 29. So I know a thing or two about managing my time effectively and get the job done. Kinda. Hi guys, my name is Giuseppe and I'm a finance graduate and money nerd. And today I would like to discuss some time and energy management skills that can help working students but also busy professionals. So let's get started. Schedule based on your job. I had 2 completely different jobs in the last 10 years. My first job in a bakery was very physically demanding and I had to wake up every day at 4 a.m. to do something that was laborious and tangible. In my other job, my tasks were intellectual and relationship based and I had normal office hours. Now, how does this influence your decisions as a working student? In his book Digital Minimalism, Cal Newport suggests to have a craft hobby, something that is manual and tangible. Why? He points out that in case of manual jobs, the result is in front of us. For example, we see a chair that is not complete and we can clearly see that that chair is not complete. What about an intellectual job instead? In this other case, the situation is quite different. When it comes to tasks that are intellectual and not tangible, everything is shuffled into our heads and we risk to feel overwhelmed. For this reason, it's gonna be different planning your day and your studies if your job is being a barista at a Starbucks compared to be a graphic designer or stock trader. In both cases, you will benefit a lot from scheduling, but scheduling with an intellectual job is gonna be much more important to put a little bit of order in a messy list of tasks. Jot it down. For the reasons just discussed, it is very important to regain your mental clarity by jotting it down or writing a to-do list. Simply buy an agenda and take the habit of jotting down the 3 main tasks you want to achieve on that day. In this way, you will have a list of your main goals right in front of you and you will be able to tackle them effectively. Further, you can use your calendar to allocate hours of study besides your work shift instead of letting time fly out without an allocated purpose. At the end of the day, everything that is not measured is not managed. Having everything jotted down will help you manage your work schedule for your exam throughout the month. 2. Fragment and gamify your work. Okay, let's say that you have an exam in 30 days. Supposedly, you want to spread the work that you have to do evenly throughout the month, right? Yeah, but not really. It might be better to put the majority of your workload in the early part of the month, so you can have more time to repeat what you studied and face the exam with a better confidence. So over a period of 30 days, you may want to distribute 75% of your workload in the first 15 days, then distributing the remaining part in the following 5 days, and finally repeating the whole program in the last 10 days at a very comfortable pace. You do this to stay in advance over your schedule at the beginning, to create a safety margin over your program, knowing that if something happens, you'll be able to recover quickly. You can also gamify your study schedule, trying to beat your daily goals by a margin, advancing faster in your schedule and creating even more cushion. Understand the Parkinson Law. The Parkinson Law states that work expands to fill the time allocated to it. You can notice this whenever you have a lot of time to allocate to a task and a lot of time goes to waste anyway. So how can you beat that? You can go a step further over fragmenting your work, setting not only daily deadlines, but also hourly rates of work that have to be achievable and reasonable without risking to overcomplicating your schedule even further. Understand your energy level. Okay, you have to understand that your ability to make decisions deteriorates throughout the day. You gotta imagine that as the energy bar in a combat game. You start the day fresh, but then it decreases for all the decisions and all the stress you face. There might be some things such as caffeine and sport that can restore part of your energy levels, but you're gonna mainly lose steam throughout the day, and you will have to account for this. So what can you do about that? Face your toughest battles at the beginning of the day. Schedule whatever requires a lot of brain power just after you wake up, and low intensity task later in the day. If you have your work shift just at the beginning of the day, you might want to consider waking up 3 or 4 hours earlier, but also go to bed 3 or 4 hours earlier as well to compensate. Yeah, you know, because despite everything that people want you to believe, you should prioritize sleep. Studying and working at the same time will consume you literally. And it is an effort that will last for years, not months. For this reason, you have to see this as a marathon, not as a sprint. And to survive, you will need to take care of yourself, rest and sleep an adequate amount of hours. You will not last the entire length of a bachelor's degree if you start sleeping 3 to 4 hours per day. Take 30 minutes naps and try to have a steady sleep schedule throughout the whole week. In this way, you will keep your output steady and avoid burning out. Understand in group, memorize alone. Okay, this is based just on my personal experience, and it might be that your experience is different, but hear me out. Whenever I was meeting other people to study, it always ended up messy, with people gossiping, talking about other stuff and not doing anything productive. Now, it is true that whenever you are facing a very complex topic, more brains are better than one. Being a group can be useful to deconstruct a complex topic and make it more manageable and understandable. That said, I personally prefer memorize alone, if I know that I have understood every concept in the program. So more people to understand, but alone to memorize, to make sure that the time you're spending is actually used to study and not to gossip or other stuff. Use the most refined sources. As a working student, you will have to optimize the time you have every day and try to get the most bang for your buck. Sometimes you will have to choose between 30 pages of class notes and a 400 pages book. And you will probably have to go for the first choice, because you will probably not have all the time you want to go through an entire book. And finally, accept it. So this is my last suggestion. Whichever is the reason you're trying to make it work between studying at university level and having a full-time or part-time job, you gotta simply accept that it is gonna suck a lot. Every one of us has to make some choices in life. And maybe being a working student was your only option to study at all, considering your economical situation. And that is fine. You can already consider yourself quite lucky for the opportunity of studying. I definitely did so when I had the opportunity to study after failing 2 times in a row the first year of high school. Maybe your situation is not too tragic, but simply you don't want to get in student debt, and that is fine too. Or maybe you simply do not want to face the opportunity cost of not having an income in those years, and that is fine as well. Whichever is your reason, just accept that it's gonna be tough. And you're probably going to sacrifice some college experiences and some social life, but in the end it's gonna be worth, because from this experience you will definitely fortify your grit, and you will also have something to show on your resume as well. You will literally see the difference at the same age between a person that only had to study and a person that had to be a working student. So guys, thank you for watching. I hope you liked the video, and if so, please leave a like and subscribe. And you might also be interested in understanding how I manage my energy level throughout the day, and you can find it here. Bye.